So things that are now part of, I guess, what I and others call the new normal now. This is now normal. You know, I remember when I actually started out at the Powerhouse. It was the Sydney Olympic Games were coming up, year 2000, and we got a huge. We were doing an exhibit on the Olympic Games in Olympia. So we sent a series of photographers to Olympia, who did some panoramic photography, and then some rebuilt the way Olympia would have looked in those panoramic views, and created an immersive experience where people wore 3D goggles and they could explore how Olympia would have been. This is using the graphics of 2000, which now seem incredibly primitive. Nowadays though, Google lets me go and does all this automatically, right? So they bring their little cart along and they film your museum, and a couple of months later, once you sign all the legal stuff, you're there, and someone in Tokyo or someone in Sydney can come and visit your museum as it was at that time. It's full of a lot of flaws, but it's remarkable that it's gone from something that museums were doing as one-off things by themselves to now Google just providing that as a service. It's not it doesn't mean that museums themselves shouldn't do it too, and I would always warn that it's not good to outsource everything to Google. Google at the end of the day ends up owning all that. But it is something you should take advantage of while you figure out what else to do. But it's just the thing that this used to be exceptional and hard and difficult. Now it's just not. The other thing that's really changed, and I'm actually appearing on one of these on Friday night back in New York. One of these will be rolling around Cooper Hewitt while I'm sitting in my hotel room here in Milan. This is a telepresence robot. It's an iPad on a Roomba, basically, if you think about that. These are now about $1,000, which is ridiculous. The Tate Britain's been doing this stuff, but these are now $1,000, right? So what used to be incredibly expensive just isn't anymore. So a project that I was involved in back in Australia is an early version of this, which is this. I'm going to turn the sound up for this one. This moved from the Powerhouse to the National Museum of Australia. So when they were talking about it, the Powerhouse, that was when my teams were involved in it. Once it moved to the National Museum, it stopped. So it's this thing. So this robot, a precursor to that one that's $1,000, this was in the range of $25,000 a unit. But this is a really interesting one. I'll just let this video play, because this is remote education across Australia. School kids log into it, a curator walks around with the robot, and the school kids can ask the curator questions about what they're seeing. And it's annotated, and the students, as you'll hear, have full control of the camera. So just as if they're a horde of school kids coming down your hall, they can look at things that the curator doesn't want them to look at as well. You'll see.
Here is a telepresence platform that allows remote visitors from all over Australia to dial into the museum and get a virtual tour of the museum's exhibits and be able to see the exhibits in the gallery in a panoramic sense and be able to access all sorts of extra information. The robot knows exactly where it is at any one time to within about 1 or 2 centimetres. And we can send the robot to anywhere in the gallery that the visitors want to see. We're now here at Farlap's Heart. It's a little bit gruesome.
You can look around the entire room, the immediate area that the robot's in, by moving the camera around.
The museum robot's main piece of technology is the panoramic camera, which is on the top.
You can rotate your own camera, so you can look at whatever you like, and if there's something that you're interested in looking at, you can click on it and get more information that way.
And in various ways, they demonstrate a second camera here, which is always trained on the guide from the museum, who can talk directly to the people in towns across Australia.
So high-speed broadband is critical in this application.
So you get the idea. So this is the sort of stuff that when we were thinking about Cooper Hewitt, we were thinking, okay, these are the sort of things that we need to get our spaces ready for. The problem, of course, with robots is they don't like stairs, right? So if your building has stairs, you've kind of got problems straight up. The other thing, this is how we used to do 3D scanning. This is 3D scanning from about, I think this photo's from about 2006 to 2007. This again's at the powerhouse. We were doing very early 3D scanning there, not very successfully, pretty low resolution. Smithsonian's been doing a lot of 3D scanning. This is Wright's flyer from the Air and Space Museum, which now allows them to animate and create a working model of that. And that's kind of nice because it allows this annotated view on not only on the web, but it also creates a 3D model for use in the exhibition space and the galleries too. So when we were doing the building at Cooper Hewitt, one of the opportunities we had was, of course, in the 1 week where the building had been finished, but we hadn't started to move in the exhibition cases, we thought, let's scan the entire building. So we did that, and this is it happening here. I'll just turn the audio off. So this is the thing of, like, you know, we have this full 3D scan now of the building as it was, which is really good, and we've given this 3D model completely away for the public. No way. So let's cool like that. Okay, cool. So what's cool with this is not only can the public download this 3D model and do cool stuff with it. More importantly for us though, it allows exhibit designers in the future to have a 3D model, a precise 3D model of their physical spaces to plan exhibitions in and to do other things with. So that's that. The other stuff that's happening, as we all know, is sensors are in everything now. So this is a series of sensors you can buy for an Arduino, a little microcomputer. These are in the 20-cent range. They do a whole bunch of different things, and these sensors are built into almost everything you buy now. And so one of the projects I was doing just before I left the powerhouse was looking at the way we could use sensors to track how people move through our physical spaces. So this is a heat map of how people move through this particular exhibit space that we had. People would come in here. This is the entrance here. This was an exhibit where you were supposed to go around this way, around here. And of course people will dwell here, which is where the videos were playing, right? So of course they would. So we were using Wi-Fi tracking to do this. Other museums have done things very similar. This is from a museum called Mona in Australia. This is my tour of Mona when I visited. 3D map of where I've been and done all this stuff. And I get this, as a visitor, I get this report when I go home of what I've done. And that's sort of the basic thing. This is all expected. This is not new, it's not novel. It is increasingly what is the normal. And that's a huge challenge for all of us. It's not just a challenge for us as the Cooper Hewitt, it's a challenge for everybody.